I'm Kevin Jacobsen of Gold Derby here with Nena Ross and Stacey Morris, who is live doing her job now. Very exciting. Um, they were just nominated at the Emmys. You were both nominated for your work as part of the hairstyling team of Blackish. First question for the both of you. We could start with Nena. I know this was your first nomination. Tell me about finding out about your nomination and just what this recognition means to you.
Well, I was awakened by Stacey Morris. Obviously, she texted me and was like, "Hey, we got nominated," and I'm like, "Oh my God!" And then, all the texts and the emails and the congrats start coming through. I was I'm really excited. I'm just overwhelmed with excitement, and what this means to me is, it just puts me on the, brings me up to the next level. And it's just, words can't explain how excited I am about this Emmy nomination.
Yeah.
It's well-deserved. And like I said, I've been in the business over 20 years. So I'm like, this is what we all strive for in this business, is to, be nominated and, also, receive an Emmy. But just to be nominated is a true honor and a blessing.
Right. And be recognized by your peers. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Stacey, you've been nominated before for The Voice. This is your first scripted show that you've been nominated for. How did you react to your nomination?
I'm always excited. When I'm doing the work, I'm not thinking nomination. And so every time that it does happen, it's just, you're excited and elated. There's no other words for it. It's just, and to be recognized for your accolades. We're recognized within our industry amongst our peers and other things like that. But to have an actual organization that says, hey, you're nominated because we recognize, the greatness of your work it's amazing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, before we get into, adapting to the COVID restrictions and everything that went into those changes,
Nena, look at me right now.
Well, there you go. But Nena, as the department head, I was hoping you could both, talk about what an average week is like for you on these production weeks and just what your responsibilities are from day to day.
My average.
Go ahead, Nena.
My average responsibilities as a department head is to, week to week, look over the script, see what's needed with hairstyling. If we have guest casts or things like that, delegate who does what styling, make sure that the talent that I'm doing, I have, the styles picked out on what I'm supposed to do, and just leading the team and reading the script, doing the breakdown. We do hair charts because typically we have to do, 3 to 4 different hair changes, sometimes in a day, but definitely within that week, we do multiple hair changes. So just making sure that everything is organized, the continuity stays on point. That's really like my job description, and just making sure that everything flows the way that it's supposed to flow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Nena, she has the biggest part of the job because she has all the technical stuff to do, all the, paperwork and making sure everybody's on point. She's like over all of us. So making sure that we're on point. And then we have to show up to make sure that everything comes together for her. You know what I mean? And like she said, checking out the script, knowing the shooting schedule, knowing the days out of days, what days your actors are in, what they're supposed to look like, if there's any hair changes or anything that it might happen to their hair throughout the day. Maybe their hair gets wet or there's a scuffle and their hair changes, just knowing what your responsibilities are. And one of the most important things, I think, Nena, you can tell me if I'm correct, the continuity. How many times have we watched something and we see one cut, it looks this way, and then you cut back and all of a sudden their hair changed. We shoot over a period of a week. So that scene may be shot partly on, Monday and then the reverse on another day. So we have to make sure that everything always looks the same. The continuity looks the same and is on point. And just be a stickler about that.
Yes.
So yeah, those are our responsibilities.
Yeah, I would agree that that's like one of the most important thing is the continuity. And, you know, when we do the hairstyles, some are kind of intricate hairstyles. So we have to make sure that we can recreate that style exactly the same on a different day. So those are some of the challenging things. So we always have to make sure we take good pictures, all four sides. And if it's very intricate, you know, multiple pictures and match the picture. Sometimes we have to hold it up to there and match it and make sure that everything, you know, flows, because like she said, sometimes they could be in the bedroom where we start the scene and then the next 2 days we'll shoot it and they're walking down the stairs and, you know, it's like a direct cut. So it has to be like a direct, perfect match.
Yeah.
And Stacey, you've been there from the beginning as a barber. I'm curious for you, what aspects of the job really changed for you this season?
Well, mainly this COVID,
Yes.
you know, having to work, you know, protecting yourself. The schedule is different. We have vigorous testing, you know, and just following the protocols. We were always being safe and clean and sanitizing, but now it's like on steroids. We have to protect ourselves. We have to protect our actors. And then for them, you know, working with them, and sometimes they don't wear a mask because they obviously can't be on camera with a mask on, but then they have to put on masks to transport from stage to trailer and things like that and in between. And sometimes that, you know, changes everything. Like Anthony's beard, yes, I just did it and it's perfect and it looks great, and he has to put on a mask to walk the stage, you know, or during lunch or whatever, you know, and then the shields and things like that. So me and Nena and our other teammates, you know, are always fixing what that has caused, you know, wearing a mask and a shield and whatever else you might have on. So that for me was the biggest challenge.
Yeah. Well, one thing about this show is that it's usually reflecting current day events, and obviously the pandemic was factored in a number of episodes. And watching watching from the beginning, it feels like there's been a bit of an evolution with the Johnsons, with, you know, their hair's more grown out, more natural. And I'm curious, Nena, how did you go about just figuring out how to have them reflect that new reality, you know, of, you know, not necessarily making their hair look too professional?
Right. Well, definitely during the pandemic, everybody, like, you know, kind of grew their hair out. Marseille got braids, you know, because we weren't able to go to the salons and things like that. So it was something new, just going, you know, transitioning to just all, you know, styling braided styles and things like that. So I wanted to make sure that I kept it authentic, real, and true to her character. So I did a lot of adding like hair accessories and yarn and thread, and sometimes we did some added metal in her braids, twisted it around and things like that, just to give it a, you know, a more current modern day look and a fresh feel, and not just like, oh, I just, you know, I have braids and I'm doing this and I'm doing that, you know, with her natural styling. The same with Miss Tracy Ellis Ross. We did this, you know, a lot of natural styling. She typically likes more so to wear her hair naturally styled anyway. So, you know, that was kind of something that was the same for her, but we tried to just create her some new looks and new styles, natural styling, and then she had some braid styling, and we just tried to go with the flow of what was going on in the current time and event.
Yeah, same for me. I mean, you know, people during the pandemic weren't able to go into the salon and get their hair done, and so a lot of people found themselves with overgrown hair, you know, the men with overgrown facial hair. And so I kind of took advantage of that. If you notice, like Marcus's hair is longer during this season. Anthony's beard is fuller during this season, you know, so it kind of reflects what's really happening, you know, and people realize, oh, I have more hair. I like this. Well, instead of get rid of it, let's do something with it. So that's kind of what I did with the guys. Yeah.
Well, the episode that you're nominated for is Our Wedding Dre, which is where Pops and Ruby get married again. I don't know if you were the one who selected the episode to submit, or if it was the studio or the showrunner, but what made that episode stand out as a showcase for your work, Nena?
I think me and Stacey and I selected that episode. I think what was nice about that episode is everybody was dressed up. Like we said, we were going through the current events of COVID, and they were pretty much in the house, the whole season. But that episode was special because everyone was there. Zoe came home for the wedding, so she was there, and everybody we were able to do more elegant styles. For Zoe, she had like 2 buns with, I braided some fishtail braids and kind of like attached them to her hair and then add some accessories to make it look, like for a wedding. Along with the other cast, we kind of just were able to have fun with the hair and like just do more elegant looks and styles, So that was one of the reasons why I felt like we should choose that episode, is because everybody was more glammed up.
Yeah, everybody was more done. It was less like everyday styles, like when we see them just in the house, it was like they had an actual event, so they got more cleaned up. So we thought that was a good episode, and like Nena said, everybody was in that episode, so that was a good display of all the characters. And also wardrobe was choosing that episode, and it also has a nomination for the voiceover, and so it made sense to go with the flow. It was just a good episode. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a major showcase for a lot of the cast and all of your work for sure. I mean, there's all the aunts and uncles. Danny Glover shows up as one of the uncles.
Yeah.
Either of you, can you talk about the more difficult aspects? Was it hard to sort of wrangle everyone together to figure out the looks for everyone?
No, basically. For me, it was planning. We did kind of plan out the looks. And like I said, when I did Zoe's hair, I kind of gave her an option, like what texture did she want to go with, what styles, so we kind of talked to the cast and find out what their needs are, what they want, how they want to look, what they're feeling. So it's all about planning for me. And communication. I think the communication is important. So it wasn't really a hassle as far as like picking the looks. It was just more about communicating with everybody and seeing what they wanted and just, delivering on that.
Yeah, same for me. I mean, the guys pretty much don't switch up their style too much. I just cleaned them up a little more. And I did ask Anthony, do you want to do anything special with your beard? Sometimes we stretch it out. We'll have it looking more voluptuous, more lustrous, So it wasn't that difficult. It wasn't that difficult at all.
Okay. Well, I'd love to know from each of you if you just had a favorite look, a favorite hairstyle that you were able to accomplish this season for any of the characters, or maybe one where you did something that was subtle that, might not be noticeable on a first watch, but was really able to complete the look.
For me, it was 2 things. It was Marcus. His hair is a really smooth, curly, texture, and he wanted his hair to look a little more like textured and kind of undone, but still groomed at the same time. And then his hair is long, and it doesn't really stand up like that all that well. So to get it to stay out vertical like that in the afro shape was an accomplishment. And as far as Miles, we kind of grew him up a little bit. He's always had his natural like hairline, from all the seasons. And in barbering, sometimes we edge them out, give them that hard line. And we finally gave him a lineup which kind of matured him with the whole show, actually, because he's been such a little kid now and everybody's maturing. Yara's gone off to college. Marcus has a girlfriend, and what could we do with Miles? Well, we changed his hair and grew him up a little bit, and thankfully he has a little peach fuzz over his lip. Yeah, so.
Yes. What about for you, Nena? Do you have a favorite look?
I actually proud of all the looks that we did this season. I went over and I watched like all of the episodes, and I was able to pick something out of each episode that I was proud of. What I liked about, Marseille is just advancing her up, because, she went from a child, and grooming her up to a teenager. So we were able to do more teenage styles, age appropriate styles for her, and to show the girls like, hey, you're wearing your hair natural, or you may be wearing braids, but you can always accessorize it. You can always do something more to, bring that style to a contemporary, fun, creative, look. So I was proud to do that, to help transition her from a kid to, more so a teenager. But I'm just proud of all the looks that we did. We kind of put our heart and soul into everything that we do. And like Stacey said earlier, we work and we do what we do, and we try to put out the best work we can every day. You never know what show is going to be nominated. So you want to kind of put your best foot forward on everything, so that when it's, when an episode is chosen, it's like, you're not like, oh, I did this one good. I didn't put my heart into this. So I basically put my heart and soul into, every look that I did for the whole season. And I tried to make sure that my team did that as well.
Yeah, no shoulda, woulda, couldas.
None.
Once we watch it,
there's no redos. Once we do it, it's out there for the world to see, and it's no taking it back. So we just give our 100%. We show up and we show out.
There you go.
Yep.
Well, this show unfortunately is coming to an end with this upcoming season. And again, Stacey, since you've been there from the start as the barber, could you describe what the atmosphere is like on that set, and how it's maybe even evolved over the course of, 7 or 8 years?
Yeah, I mean, we evolved into a family. That's my set family, with the actors and actresses, as well as us, the crew. And so it's exciting to know we made it this far, 8 seasons, syndication, but it's sad at the same time. Like, I have no idea what it's going to feel like on the last day when we're like, bye, but everyone's moving on to other things, and hopefully we all will still be connected in some way, somehow.
Yeah. Anything to add for you, Nena, on the show bidding farewell?
Yes, I think it was awesome. Obviously, I just came in season 7, but everybody kind of welcomed me with open arms. And I've worked on the show throughout the seasons, just maybe like day playing. So I was familiar with the cast, and I've also worked on Grownish, with Yara and things like that. So it's nice that, everybody, accepted me. And I feel like, even though it's just the one season where I, was there full time, I feel like I made a bond with a lot of the cast, and I feel like it's family too. So it is still going to be bittersweet for me. And what's going to be special is that I'm, going to be there to see the show to the end, the last day. So that's going to be, awesome for me as well.
Yeah, it's going to be very bittersweet for a lot of people.
Yes.
But for those of you watching, subscribe for more interviews and go to goldderby.com to make your Emmy predictions. Nena, Stacey, thank you so much for talking with me today.
Thank you.
No problem. Thank you for having us.
Bye.
See you. All right.
Bye-bye.